I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, we are driving one of my all-time favorite cars. This is a 1972 Ferrari Dino 246 GT. GT, since it's a Berlinetta coupe and not a GTS Targa. The roof does not come off of this version. And the last time you saw me driving a Dino on the channel was an ultra rare 206 GT. The 206 has a 50 millimeter shorter wheelbase. It has a 2-liter V6 instead of this 2.4. It makes a little less power. But most importantly, the 206 was an aluminum body. This is steel. But we won't hold that against it because that 2.4 liter makes a little bit more power, but more importantly, more torque. Whereas the 2-liter in the 206 made around 130 pound-feet of torque, this is pushing out around 160 to 170. In addition to some material changes, the 246 is actually about 50 millimeters longer in wheelbase, and that's to give it a little more stability at speed. But overall, the shape, this beautiful Pininfarina design, is timeless, and this is probably one of my all-time favorite cars, and it provided direction for Ferrari for years, decades to come. Now I can already hear the comments saying, that's not a real Ferrari, a Dino is a Fiat, it's not a Ferrari. Please continue the comments, your tears sustain me. This is probably one of my favorite Ferraris of all time, and I'm not ashamed of it. So let's take a look around. Underneath these giant front wheel arches, we have these gorgeous Campagnolo 14-inch wheels wrapped in a 205 section tire. We've got a Michelin all season on there, and holy cow, look at the sidewall. So those should do a pretty good job of absorbing the unpleasantries of New England roads. It's a square setup, so we've got a 205 in the rear as well. Now, one of the most important things about the Dino is the fact that it has 4-wheel disc brakes. It has independent suspension all around. This is a proper little race car for the street, and it was the first mass-produced Ferrari. This is a big deal for the brand. But let me show you the heart of this thing, because this mid-engine V6 is incredibly special. So, if we pop this up, it reveals our beautiful V6. This makes an incredible sound, and you'll notice that this is mounted transversely, meaning that we have our banks here and not longitudinally. And they did this to add more storage space, because up front is not a luggage compartment, that is a spare wheel and tire. Back here is a trunk, so if you mounted it longitudinally, you'd have taken up all this space with engine and transmission, not to mention the fact that they were competing with Lamborghini, who is producing the Miura with a transverse mounted V12. And let me show you what I mean by trunk space, because this is actually a very usable car. Look at this, super deep, plenty of room. You could really put some luggage here for some proper motoring through Italy, or in this case, North America. I'll show you what I mean up front. We pull this lever, and that will release our frunk, and this pops right up and clips into place, and there we have our full-size spare on another Campagnolo wheel. This was rattling around a little bit, so just for the sake of noise and not scratching that wheel, we threw a little towel in there. But up front, like I said, there's really no space for anything else unless you were to remove that wheel and tire. So on this beautiful 90-degree day here in New England, let's go start this up, make some noise, and have some fun on a drive in a Dino 246 GT. To start the Dino, we've got our key, our ignition, and I've been running this a little bit, and it doesn't love a hot start, so it might take a couple of cranks, but there's our fuel pump. Not bad. All right, down on the floor, we've got a gated dogleg 5-speed. So to get into reverse, it's a push down, over and up. There's no synchro there, so that can be the only cumbersome gear to get into, but very easy to knock it into first. No power steering, but certainly not necessary because there's no weight over the front. Car always sounds insane. that is what the Dino is all about. You gotta grab it by the scruff. A lot of these old Ferraris do feel like that, where you really just need to go for things. If you're too gentle, they don't respond well to them. They like to be driven hard. They like to be driven at wide open throttle. The seating position I love in the Dino because it's just wide open. Steering wheel not touching my legs, unlike it would if it was a Porsche, it certainly would be. Throttle response instantaneous. I'm less concerned about the potholes in this car than I am even in a modern Ferrari because I've got sidewall to protect me. Oh, this sound is so intoxicating. It revs out to 7,700 RPM. And it loves it. It's smooth. It's happy. This engine is just blissful. Driving this around town is actually pretty easy. Has enough low-end grunt to kind of dig itself out of a hole. And then the power just builds. But it's so smooth. My favorite part of looking out over the hood of this thing are these wheel arches. They're just outrageous. We're playing the classic car game of being very cautious. Out here on the highway, 75 miles an hour as indicated. This thing tracks incredibly straight. So comfortable. You just want to go and drive it forever. This is not one of those uncomfortable classics that looks better than it drives. If anything, it might even drive better than it looks, and it looks gorgeous. These brakes inspire confidence too. They're so easy and you're never wondering, hey, am I going to stop? There's a classic for you, different kind of classic. If I had the money, I would be driving these. Porsches are crazy expensive. Air-cooled Porsches are crazy expensive these days. But this Dino, you know, depending on if it's an L series or a 206 or a GTS or a GT, I mean, they're anywhere from $250,000 to $600,000-$700,000. So comfortably, probably 400 grand. Probably 400 grand is getting you a pretty nice 246 and 3 to 350 maybe a later car. Not really sure right now, but the point is way out of my budget. But man, this is the driving experience I love. It's not wildly powerful, but it's powerful enough. It's tactile. I can feel everything through the road, and it's easy. It's livable. It's not bad to drive. It's V6 just makes all the right noises. All the little pops on the overrun. Cow! Would not want to hit a cow in a Dino. So if you don't think this is a real Ferrari, look, I feel sorry for you. This is one of the greatest cars ever built. It's so much fun to drive, and it sounds unbelievably good. It revs out, it's light, it's beautiful. I don't know what more you want in a vehicle if this is something that you're gonna neg on. It ain't no Fiat. So thank you to Bond Group for lending me this 246 Dino to play around with today. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, joining the Patreon, buying stickers on the Shopify store, supporting the channel. It means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed listening to this Dino as much as I did. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.